He thought she'd stay silent. But when the truth came out in court, the entire courtroom gasped. Linda lost her husband Mark last winter. They'd been married 38 years. She now lived alone in the modest apartment they'd rented for over a decade. Mark had always handled the bills, and the landlord, Mr. Carver, had never raised the rent in all those years. But within 2 weeks of Mark's funeral, a letter came. Due to updated lease terms, your rent is now tripled. It read coldly. No explanation, no sympathy, just a demand for money she didn't have. Linda was shattered. Not just by grief, but by betrayal. Carver knew she was a widow. He even came to the funeral. She tried talking to him. This can't be legal. You can't just raise rent without notice. Actually, he said smugly, I never filed your original lease. You're on a month-to-month agreement now. Either pay up or leave. Linda sat in silence. The apartment held every photo, every memory, every corner her husband had touched. She couldn't just pack it all up like it meant nothing, so she did something no one expected. She took him to court. On the court date, Mr. Carver walked in confident, slick suit, high-priced lawyer at his side. Linda walked in alone, with a small folder clutched to her chest. When it was her turn to speak, the judge asked, Mrs. Anders, do you have any documentation of your original lease? She nodded, then held up a handwritten letter, signed by Mr. Carver himself. It was from 11 years ago, the same week she and her husband had moved in. In the letter, Carver promised that as long as they lived, the rent would never exceed a fixed amount. And attached, a photo of her husband and Carver, shaking hands. Holding the very letter, Carver's face went white. His lawyer tried to argue it was non-binding. But the judge leaned forward. Not only is this binding, it's also damning. You preyed on a grieving widow. Then he dropped the hammer. Rent increase revoked. And due to emotional distress, you, Mr. Carver, will pay her legal fees and a $5,000 penalty. Gasps echoed in the courtroom. Linda stood there, trembling. Then, as if guided by her late husband's strength, she smiled. For the first time in months, outside the courthouse, someone filmed her walking out with her papers in hand. The clip went viral. Millions watched this gentle, grieving woman stand up against injustice. People flooded the comments. My grandma went through something similar. Thank you for sharing. This is what dignity looks like. And Linda? She stayed in that apartment. The same chair, the same window view, but now with peace. If you believe in standing up for what's right, no matter how small you feel, please like, subscribe, and share.